The Governor's Office of Student Achievement is focused on building a more educated Georgia. One way this office is advancing student achievement is through the Innovation Fund, a $19.4 million fund created under Georgia's Race to the Top plan. In September 2012, the Governor's Office of Student Achievement awarded a grant to the Museum School, a charter school in DeKalb County modeled based on research about how students learn best, through personal exploration and hands-on experiences. The school partners with several museums in Atlanta, allowing the museum school students to regularly get outside of the classroom and master content standards in a hands-on environment. The museum school created 26 trunks, complete with real artifacts that students might see at a museum.
We learned about the Innovation Fund award through the Race to the Top funding and looked into it more and felt like our model itself was innovative. And we had talked about ways that we can impact students outside of our four walls. And through other conversations, as we are renters of trunks, we had talked about, wouldn't it be great one day if we had our own trunks at the school?
So the concept just started last year. So we started creating these boxes, I believe, in about September of last year, or in the fall of last year. Every time they see the box in the classroom, they're so excited. They just want to know what's inside, so they know that some sort of cool artifact is going to come out whenever I open that box. So they're like, their faces just, light up whenever they see the box.
What they might see in a book is different from being able to touch the specific materials. So when we're talking about the Declaration of Independence and how Thomas Jefferson used a feather pen to write it, that's great, but just being able to touch a feather pen and see like a mock copy of the Declaration of Independence makes it real life. I think it becomes ingrained in who they are. So when, at the end of the unit, at the end of the year, they really have learned the concepts instead of just memorizing it for a certain time.
I think having all of the different visuals for them to use and different resources for them to use is really helpful. It helps it to be more concrete. So instead of, talking abstractly, about an American alligator, they get to see pictures of an alligator. We get to look at maps of where alligators might live in the regions of Georgia. They have little plastic alligators that they can move around to different regions and talk about why they wouldn't live in certain areas of Georgia and why they would live in certain areas. So it just makes it more real for them instead of everything being abstract. Just anytime you can give them something to touch, to look at, it makes them have a better understanding all around.
As teachers were creating these trunks, they had the budget and the opportunity and the time to be able to create masterful lessons, to be able to build inventory lists that are full of materials that aren't just available at a local store, that are well sought after, that are authentic. And so they've created, in a sense, their own dream boxes for their students to use as well. So that's obviously another great benefit. So as we're renting them to teachers, we're telling them that they're created by and used by teachers to this day, and that obviously builds a great buy-in for outside teachers. Our ultimate goal is to not only impact as many students as possible, but to also impact teachers. So ideally, when they use the trunks and they see how excited their students are to be able to try on costumes and use props and act out experiences and use their hands with these manipulatives, that they'll see, even without a trunk, the possibilities that they can provide for their students. As far as impacting education as a whole, I think just showing teachers small numbers at a time how students respond when they're able to use their hands and become immersed in the material is critical, and that's exactly what our goal is. For a lot of folks, when they come in and see some of the manipulatives and materials, they may think it looks more like play, but as students are manipulating and using the materials, and then later on assessments when they're able to beyond capture what they've learned, that's exactly what we're looking for. These trunks have the possibility to impact so many students in this way by getting them excited about learning, letting them, again, be truly immersed and engaged in their learning as opposed to being stagnant, passive learners of the material.
Teachers from different schools can rent these trunks, bringing an authentic, hands-on, museum-like experience to all students inside the classroom walls.